Getting Bhavtosh in just a bit, but fanning anti-CAA protests, many of which also that ended in violence, inciting the riots in northeast Delhi and carrying out provocative social media campaigns on Babri Masjid are just one of those movements that was facilitated by the PFI. So Bhavtosh, the investigation being carried out as multiple accounts also that has now been frozen. Bhavtosh, can you hear me? All right, in the meantime, as we reconnect that line with Bhavtosh, because here is the shocker, all of these activities were actually funded not just by shadowy firms from the Middle East, from where the PFI has formed its district executive committees, but also from China. When we confronted the PFI, here's what they had to say.
This is completely a fake and baseless allegation by ED as their previous allegations. So this is nothing but misuse of power. The ED is basically used as a pawn, as a tool by the BJP government to target Popular Front, and not just Popular Front of India. You might see that any opposition leader, opposition party, NGO or any organization that is speaking against the BJP, you might have seen that it was the same ED that had said in 2020 that Popular Front received 120 crores, and many news channels covered it for many days. Even now some people are quoting it, but the same ED now comes and says it's 60 crore in 13 years. So ED itself has proved that previously it lied to the media, lied to the people of the country, and this 60 crore what they're talking about, the deposits, basically it's for over 13 years, okay, and it's quite normal.
So the PFI denying all of those charges, saying that even the ED that continues with its investigation, they have found nothing in those said business transactions that have been taking place so far. But when it comes to China link, there is also a Middle East link where the PFI has formed district executive committees, but also the link from China that is now coming to fore, where targets are given individuals to collect cash and to transfer the same through hawala or through camouflaged as genuine business transactions. We have Vivek and Imran both joining us live, but let's play out the SDPI reaction also that we are getting this hour.
Hello, Sharif. Arrest ചെയ്തിട്ട് ജയിലിലാണുള്ളത്. ഒരു വർഷമായിട്ട് അയാൾ ജയിലിലാണ്.
ഓക്കെ.
ഒരു വർഷത്തിന്റെ ഇടയിൽ ഏതായാലും ഇപ്പോൾ അയാൾ ഒരു കൂടുതൽ ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ നടക്കാൻ സാധ്യതയില്ലല്ലോ.
അതെ. അദ്ദേഹം എപ്പോഴാണ് ജയിലിലായത്? അദ്ദേഹം
ഒരു വർഷമായി കഴിഞ്ഞ ഡിസംബറിലാണ് കഴിഞ്ഞ 1.5 വർഷമാവുന്നു.
അത് ശരി.
1.5 വർഷമായിട്ട് ജയിലിലുള്ള ആള് 1 കോടിയുടെ ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ നടത്തിയായിരുന്ന ജയിലത്തെ ആൾക്കാരെ പിടിച്ച് അവർക്കെതിരെ കേസ്
വരേണ്ടത്. അതെ, അല്ല ഇതിനകത്ത് ചിലപ്പോ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് വേറെ ഏതെങ്കിലും അക്കൗണ്ടിലേക്കാണോ അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും?
അതന്നെ നമുക്കറിയില്ല. നമുക്കിപ്പോ നിങ്ങൾ പറയുന്ന ഈ ന്യൂസിന്റെ വിവരമുള്ളത് 1.5 വർഷമായി സർക്കാരിന്റെ അണ്ടറിലുള്ള ജയിലിലുള്ള ഒരാള് 1 കോടി ഉൾപ്പെടെ ബിസിനസ് നടത്തിയെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് 1.5 വർഷത്തിന് ശേഷം വാർത്ത വരാന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ വാർത്ത ദുരൂഹമാണ്. ഇനി അദ്ദേഹം ജയിലിൽ പോണതിന്റെ മുമ്പാണ് അങ്ങനെ ബിസിനസ് നടത്തിയിട്ടുള്ളത് എങ്കിൽ 1.5 വർഷം മുമ്പ് ഇയാളെ പിന്നെ എന്തിനാണ് ഈ ഇത് പ്രകാരം സാമ്പത്തിക കുറ്റകൃത്യ പ്രകാരം എന്ത് കുറ്റകൃത്യത്തിനാണ് ഇയാൾക്കെതിരെ കേസെടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്? 1.5 വർഷത്തിന്റെ ഉള്ളിലൊന്നും റിവീൽ ചെയ്യാത്ത ഒരു പുതിയ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ആയിട്ടാണല്ലോ പറയുന്നത്. അപ്പോ ഇത് മനഃപൂർവ്വം ബ്ലെയിം ചെയ്യാനുള്ള, അപകീർത്തിപ്പെടുത്താനുള്ള ഒരു പദ്ധതിയുടെ ഭാഗമാണ്. നേരത്തെ 120 കോടി രൂപ പിന്നെ പോപ്പുലർ ഫണ്ടിന്റെ അക്കൗണ്ടിൽ വന്നു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് വീഡിയോ ഉദ്ധരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് മിക്കവാറും എല്ലാ ദേശീയ മാധ്യമങ്ങളും വാർത്ത കൊടുത്തു. ഇപ്പൊ ഇന്നലെ പറയുന്നു 2009 മുതൽ പോപ്പുലർ ഫണ്ടിന്റെ അക്കൗണ്ടിൽ 60 ലക്ഷം.
Bhavtosh, Imran and Vivek, all three of them joining us live this afternoon. Vivek, to you first, because the SDBI, also the PFI, it's same links, they're saying that they are denying any of such possibility. But there are links that are now being investigated, especially when it comes to many of those protests like the anti-CAA, the riots that happened in Delhi, carrying out provocative social media campaigns, the link with the Middle East and also with China, everything that is now being exposed.
Exactly. The various findings by the Enforcement Directorate is absolutely shocking. That 1 crore amount worth 1 crore was sent to Rao Sharif. He was a senior leader of the PFI, PFI in his account. Now also it says the ED says that from 2009 onwards 60 crore was deposited into the PFI's various accounts related to the PFI. Now when I spoke to the STPI spokesperson here in Kerala, what he says is that they have this particular person called Rao Sharif, in whose account this money has come. He's in jail. He's in jail for the last 1.5 years. How is it ever possible that a person who's in jail in his account, how is it possible that he can make such a transaction? Now, even if the transaction is made before 1.5 years, why didn't the jail authorities know about it? Why didn't the authorities reveal about this? So PFI and the STPI are outrightly rejecting this. They're saying that the ED is controlled by the government at the center, and they say that there is there's nothing but to malign the PFI that the ED is right now trying, and they have been doing this. Remember, in Kerala in the last 4 to 5 years, if you look at, there has been a number of raids that's been conducted in the houses of in the residences of PFI leaders in the state. Every time when the raid is conducted, PFI says that they have been targeted unnecessarily by the BJP government. But there are the kind of evidences that the ED is coming up. Very, very serious that needs to be looked into, whether these transactions
well, there has been a common call that is now being made, Vivek, Imran and Bhavtosh, as far as a common call to ban the same organization, because it was the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma who has echoed the same sentiment also in the hinting at the PFI's alleged involvement in the violence that happened across the state, demanding a ban on the outfit. The BJP too has been demanding a probe into the findings of the radical group. Listen in.
Right from the Gorukhuti, we always see PFI's hand in the communal tension. Even in the latest Botodroba incident, when the Botodroba PS was burned down, we are now picking up signals of involvement of PFI. So Assam government is of the view that PFI and Campus Front of India should be banned. If you go to the district of Baksa, the kind of training program, the kind of literature they are distributing there, it itself goes to show that they want to destabilize Assam like anything. And they are doing it openly. So, Assam government, as Chief Minister, I have met Union Home Minister many times, and I have requested that PFI and CFI should be banned.
पहले से हम लोग संशय करते थी पीएफआई के पीछे केवल देश का अंदर का हाथ नहीं है, बाहर का हाथ भी है। आज जो अकाउंट सीज किया है, इंक्वायरी होने के बाद पूरा पता होगा कौन कौन पीछे है, अभी तक क्या क्या किया है, उसको उद्देश्य क्या है, सभी पता होगी इंक्वायरी होने के बाद। केरल में, कर्नाटक में और अलग अलग जगह में टारगेट करके हत्या किए ना हिंदू लोगों को, उसके पीछे पीएफआई है।
Going across to Imran now, because Imran, in its defense, the PFI is denying all of those allegations, are also preparing for a protest.
Well, absolutely. Across India level, PFI has planned to protest today after afternoon, after the Friday prayers at Jantar Mantar in Delhi. They are planning protests now in several places across India. PFI is planning protests against the ED and say that this is a target by the Union BJP government against minority organization. And they say that anybody who raises voice against the BJP government, the ED comes in place to target them. They say that opposition leaders across the country have been targeted. Similarly, what charges the ED has brought in, they have been filing it under income tax returns, and this is the same 20 crores that earlier filed also last year, and there's nothing new in the charges brought in by the ED, and they will challenge it in the court accordingly about this charges but done by the ED. But there are serious charges against the ED has brought about money laundering case, PMLA under PMLA, and they're saying that individuals, so money were routed through their hotel in Muscat and to the property here in Munnar, and also about the latest coming in that they had taken a business deal with the Chinese firm where China was involved with PFI members, and these are the allegations again which they say are bogus. In fact, they say that the Chinese one were that members of PFI had brought masks and they were supplying to in Dubai in that region area, and it was a legitimate business, and it has been turned sensationalized to show that some kind of nefarious activities is undergoing by the PFI.
All right. So protests that are also being planned not just at a state level, at a national level there by the PFI. Keep an eye out on all the protests that happened there in Bengaluru. Meanwhile, Tosh and also Vivek and Imran, thanks very much for joining in. This is a big story that we are tracking, but more coming in.